The government shutdown is likely to continue to strain the travel industry even after it ends. Joining us right now is Sara Nelson, International President of the Association of Flight Attendants. Good morning to you. It's great to see you under not so great circumstances. Speak to this issue of what happens afterwards. So we may have a deal this week, but it sounds like things are going to be tough going or tough sledding for some time. And obviously we still have Thanksgiving coming up.
Andrew, thanks for that question, because there are flight crews stranded all over the country right now trying to make things work. There are air traffic controllers going to work trying to make this work without a paycheck still. There will be a hangover from this as we try to put the system back together. And this is what's always wrong with the shutdown. We say from the very beginning, we should never have a shutdown, because what you're doing is you're taking away all the people who support those frontline safety critical people. They are not there to support that work. The air traffic controllers going to work under tremendous stress, TSA officers. This was going to break at some point. And of course, flight attendants and pilots are experiencing that right now out on the line, still trying to put this back together. We had more than 50% disruptions at Delta yesterday, many of the airlines getting to that same mark. So there is a real ripple effect here, and there will continue to be even as we head towards Thanksgiving.
You know, one of the things we've been talking about all morning is this idea of private flights going into some of these large airports where they now at least stop this temporarily. I'm curious what your view is on that, maybe even longer term.
Andrew, it is outrageous. First of all, let me just say, first of all, the narrative that this shutdown was a choice of either paying federal workers or having health care for millions of people and affordability for everyone was an absurd notion. Both could have been settled very easily with one vote. But we talk about this all the time. The air traffic control system is a support system for the entire airspace. So that includes private jets. And if people are not weighing in to try to get resolutions here to keep our government services going, then everyone should feel that pain. And certainly, you know, it is not necessary for those private jets to be operating. We should be operating in the same system when we're in a condition like this. They should not be adding to the stress and strain that keeps millions of people from getting to their loved ones, getting to their medical appointments, from medicines being delivered to our veterans and to other people who are retired. This is not something that we can just let go. I agree that private jets should be on the ground in the middle of a government shutdown.
What is the union's position on effectively who they're going to point a finger at, if they are at all, over the shutdown? And in terms of who you ultimately support, Democrats typically over Republicans, and yet I think there's a lot of people who look at this and say it could have been averted a long time ago, given the fact that the Democrats aren't really going to get something for all of this.
I think we have to be really clear about how this shutdown happened. This was an intentional move by this White House to put us into a shutdown, and to even argue that 42 million people who can't afford to eat shouldn't be able to eat and should be used as collateral damage in an effort to try to dismantle healthcare. So it's pretty darn clear where the fault lies here. And
Sarah, can I just say that it's much more complicated than that, Sarah.
It is so unclear. So every time there's ever been a shutdown, it's the party that's done the obstruction to try to force an extortion, to try to get something they want that has nothing to do with the clean resolution. It's always been that way. That is Joe, ridiculous what you just said. And Joe, I'm not surprised because I know what side of the aisle you're on all these things. But that is patently false. Had nothing to do with health care. Had nothing to do with health care. The CR had nothing to do with health care.
Well,
Zero.
Joe, this is not a partisan issue. I think that the reason that Squawk Box asked me to come on is because I do represent those people on the front lines, the everyday people.
Fine. You can have an opinion, but not it doesn't make it a fact.
Well, I was asked my opinion. So Andrew asked my opinion, and I'm providing it. And I'm providing it based on the people that I represent, who many of those people do survive on SNAP. Many of those people survive on the ACA subsidies that are going to now increase exponentially. This is a requirement that Congress addresses the needs of the American people.
The only thing I'm going to push back on is
the only thing, Andrew. I just want to bring the fact that this is everyday people. I mean, I really want to just stress that there are people that are hurting who count on me to advocate for them.
But you're indicting, by saying that, you're indicting the Democrats, because they're the ones that shut down the government by not voting for the clean CR. So all these people that
you can say that all day long, but the fact of the matter is that it takes an effort to come together. What I have seen in collective bargaining is that two sides can have very different opinions, but there is a requirement to come together and come to an agreement.
Right.
And there was not an effort to address the issues that both groups had. There was not a negotiations around that to address those issues. And so that is the problem here, is that when it is a slam down on one side, then you have people who are hurt, and there will be a ripple effect here. This is going to cause healthcare premiums to rise. This is going to have an impact on businesses that are trying to provide healthcare for employees.
Sarah, I don't disagree.
So we need to
I don't want to
address
discount any. I don't want to discount anything you just said, except just on the facts of it. And this is clearly, look, the insurance issue is a real issue in America. SNAP is a real issue in America. All of these things are real issues. But just from a factual basis, clearly the Democrats wanted to use this moment as a bargaining or leverage moment on those issues. But that from just a technical perspective wasn't part of this bill unto itself. It was possible you could have kept the government open and tried to continue negotiating on those issues. You just might not have had the leverage you would have otherwise had. In this case, it looks like they had leverage, or I don't know if they had leverage. They actually didn't have leverage, because it looks like this bill is going to, the government's going to get reopened without much of this.
Yeah. So,
right.
Listen, I want to be, yes, I think you're right. And but what I want to be really clear about here is that this was a moment where the Democrats could force this issue. There wasn't really another opportunity to do that. And it is a crisis that has to be addressed. That's just a fact of the matter. But let's roll back to, there was a bill introduced by Cohen and Carson to pay federal workers before this shutdown. That didn't go anywhere. There was a bill after the 2019 shutdown to pay federal workers during a shutdown. We passed a bill to say they get back pay. Why do we continue to put federal workers who can't even express a political opinion at work in the middle of this? And why then do the rest of us have to feel the pain of that? So what I'm really saying is that I hold all of Congress responsible, because their job is to go together and to solve problems for the American people. And that didn't happen here. Instead, we have a world of hurt that we're going to continue to experience. What we're going to try to do on affordability for our members is get a contract at United Airlines that is long overdue. Get a contract for PSA Airlines that is long overdue. We're going to continue focusing on that. And I'm not really interested in a blame game here. I'm interested in people doing their jobs.